Wow. I don't know what y'all heard or didn't hear. That's crazy. That's crazy. Maybe that wasn't meant for the internet. That's crazy. That is crazy. That has not happened to me for a while. Sometimes my headphones will just attach to the computer and redirect. So it'll seem like, nah, I didn't forget. Nah, I was here talking the whole time. If you didn't type in, he forgot about us, I wouldn't know that y'all couldn't hear me. So maybe that whole story about my heart stopping, yeah, that wasn't supposed to be on the internet, or at least maybe not on this video. But I definitely just told a whole long. That's crazy. Nah, that's wild. I definitely just told the whole story about how my heart stopped. Yo! Yeah, that, man, I don't know what that's crazy. That's nuts. Yeah, and I was talking to Paul about the book. That's crazy. Yeah, I started off talking about this book, and then I got into how my heart stopped and this, all this and all that. And then Paul said about him getting the book for his birthday. And I'm like, yeah, that's crazy. And then I'm like, nah, but this one crazy right here, and woo, woo, woo. Because this book is crazy. For sure. Like this is a wild book. But this is a part of that trio. So now I know y'all can hear me. I gotta look. That's why I went over here, because that little, that little globe that let me know my voice is reading. I seen it wasn't there, but because I was looking at this screen, I couldn't even see that it wasn't audio. Man, like, yeah, whole lot. Yeah, whole lot. That wasn't for the streets. That wasn't for the streets. At least not on this video, maybe. Nah, but we definitely live though. And I definitely did not forget about y'all. That was crazy. Shout out to Lauren for that. See, if Osborne was watching, anytime technical difficulties start happening, Osborne start blowing up my phone, or Amber would start blowing up my phone. So thank God she said something, because I would have definitely been here talking to myself probably for 2-3 hours. Yo, I'd have been here cooking. I'd have been in here cooking. I'm talking about I'd have been in here going in, changing screens and slides and all that, and nobody would have heard of nothing. Like, it would have just, yeah, that would have been crazy. That would have been crazy. But nah, we getting ready to go in. So it's all good. We locked in now. You know what I'm saying? But this book right here, we're gonna deal with this whole concept. Because they not like us. And this has been going on for a long time, since young Pharaoh. Right? This been going on since young Pharaoh. I watched young Pharaoh. Do a stream, and then I watched a whole little back and forth happen, and I said to myself, yo, this is crazy. I'm thinking this is the conscious community, right? Or supposedly. I know it's a bunch of fraud stuff and scams and perverts and whatever, but I'm thinking that it's still a certain level of like, I'm thinking people heard of the stuff. Like, I'm thinking people hip to certain stuff. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I wound up even writing a book and having to put it in a book. So I don't know how many people, like right now, people is not checking. They not thinking. They like, yo, EnQi just did 4 hours, 5 hours. He's not going back live again. But no, I don't know how many people have the I King squared book, the I King squared book. But in the back of that book, I actually did a breakdown, a comparison to show where they stole the concept, from. Because that's the thing. The devil doesn't really have anything original. And it doesn't work like that anyway. If the devil was to come with something original, nobody would accept it. That's the thing you got to understand. I try to tell that to my children too. I'm like, yo, if the Baphomet was to walk down the street, like if Baphomet walked down the street and walked up on you, you know, it would be impossible to lead you into something. Like you wouldn't allow the Baphomet to say, hey, come with me to my house, or let's shoot this in our veins, or let's shoot this into your kid, or let's eat this, or like just any suggestions. Like if the Baphomet was like, hey, let's rub on this baby oil, like this is nothing that the Baphomet, or anything that looked like that. There's nothing that looked monstery that you would accept. You know what I'm saying? So the devil would never come to you in a personage of something creepy. The devil don't work like that. It's always going to be a smiling, beautiful, it's always temptation. So it's always going to be something shiny, something nice, something that looks sweet. It's going to be an overpay. It's going to be $100 bill blowing down under your feet. It's going to be a wallet full of money, or just, it's going to be something crazy that just look like, man, wow, how is this? Like, how is this, like, do you notice when they do the, and it's a genius way that they do it. It's a genius way that they do it. It's like you're using the devil's tactics on the devil's minions. But if you notice, when they set up these videos where they catch like one of like they just recently caught one of Kendrick Lamar's friends trying to actually solicit sex from a kid, you know what I'm saying? And so that's like a big controversy now, because he had this whole song A minor and all that, and now they just caught one of his friends with A minor, like. But they always get somebody very attractive. You know what I'm saying? They don't. So, and that's how it always goes. You know what I'm saying? And they tailor it to you. So they watch your profile, they see what you like, they go, okay, boom, this is what he considers attractive. We're going to get this, and we're going to make the person as gullible as possible. So it's looking like this is just falling into your lap, and then bam, they come out the back with the big guns and the handcuffs. Come with us, family. That is pure genius. And that you can only do when you understand who you're up against. That you can only do when you understand who you're up against. So that's why videos like this is important, because you need to be able to reverse engineer something and make it look. You need to make something, you need to reverse engineer something against the demons and the devils and the folks working against you in your space. My moms used to say, play fool to catch a wise. Play fool to catch the wise. Like you got to set the trap sometime. You got to make it look attractive. You got to make it, and attractive is a very personal thing. So you can't make something look attractive until you know exactly how the mind work of what you're trying to attract. And on the flip side, you need to be able to understand when you're being lured in. You need to be able to understand when you're being lured in. Listen, You got to be able to understand when you're being lured in. So we got to talk about this goat thing, and we got to talk about the Baphomet thing, because I see a lot of people in the religious space, they still equate the goat to the Baphomet. They equate the goat to the Baphomet. Say, oh yeah, the goat and the Baphomet, you know, that's, so anytime goat pop up or anything close to that, automatically that's devil worship. And that right there, you got to understand, that's a part of the devil's trick. Right? When you're doing military strategy, right? When you're doing military strategy, right? One of the things you want to do in order to be able to win a war is you want to be able to cut the enemy off from his resources. You want to be able to cut the enemy off from his weapon supply, cut the enemy off from his food supply, cut the enemy off from talking and communicating back with their base. You want to cut them off from their intelligence. You know, you want to cut them off from being able to speak to their loved ones and get their morale, their energy up. You know, you want to be able to cut them off from anything that empowers them. That's a very big part of military strategy. So, like, that's one of the main reasons why, you know, there's a few. In fact, let me take notes myself so I know what I'm talking about. But there's a few, right? So one is cutting off your resources. Cutting off your resources. So if you're taking notes, write that down. Right? Military strategy, cut off your resources. Another strategy. Hold on. Let me situate myself.
Myron!
Oh,
Myron!
what?
What are you doing? What you doing?
What you talking about? What am I doing?
You reading them nasty books again, right, Myron?
Everybody read no nasty books, man. You scared the hell out of me. What you talking about, man? Well, I ain't did that in about 2 weeks.
You called yesterday too. What you reading? What you reading?
You scared the goddamn book, man. Dr. EnQi. I went on Amazon and got 3 Dr. EnQi books because I'm reading about melatonin and biochemistry.
What is, Myron, that's not even a, first of all, it's not melatonin and whatever it is that you just said. It's melanin and biochemistry. You can't even pronounce the word, so how you reading? How you reading, Myron?
I'm not looking at the pictures. I got the books right here. I'm looking at the pictures. You know, it ain't nothing nasty about this. So what are you talking about? I got all the books right here. What are you talking about?
Myron, you don't even know how to read. Every time we get mail, you bring it to me. You think I don't know that?
I got hooked on Phoenix. Now, what you talking about? I was hooked on Phoenix, so I know how to read.
As of when? Because first of all, hooked on phonics, I believe it's for kids. There's no such thing as hooked on Phoenix. And if I recall, you're the same person that thought reindeer was pronounced reinder, and you're the same person that thought pigeon was pronounced piggion. So it makes sense that you went to hooked on Phoenix.
Man, such a dumbass.
No,
you always trying to say somebody can't read. I know exactly what I'm talking about, man. I'm reading the book. I got the book. I got the goddamn receipt right here. I got the goddamn receipt right here for the books. What you talking about?
Well, you need to return them for somebody who know how to read them. And I still don't. It's probably all type of stuff in the inside of the books, Myron. That's how sneaky you are. Give me the...
All right. So, A, you want to cut off your enemy from their resources. B, you want to make the traps you set very attractive. Very attractive to them. Right? Now you do that by making sure that whatever you're putting together is familiar. Right? You do that with familiar things. Familiar things. Right? Familiar things. Now, we're going to talk about at some point throughout this conversation how your brain is actually hardwired for God, right? Your brain is actually hardwired for God. So this is a huge part of this whole situation. The part of your brain that's hardwired for God is also hardwired for music. Those two things is together. The part of your brain that's hardwired for God is hardwired for music. They go together. Listen to what I'm saying. This is not this is not just a thing that the churches like, they just not putting that together like that. There's a reason that's in the scripture. Because your brain is wired that way. Your brain is wired for God and for music. Right? So what happens when you don't have God in your life? You replace it. You replace it. When you look at all of the music, you ask yourself all the time, why is it that the music is always coupled with the drugs? Well, because the drugs target the same pathway in your brain. The drugs target the same pathway in your brain. So the drugs with the music replaces that, right? But I'm gonna show it to you. I could show you better than I can tell you. So it's not like I'm gonna show you. You know how we do. Like it's nothing that I'm gonna just say and then that's it. Like I'm gonna show you so you understand by isolating people and making people feel alone. By isolating people and making them feel alone, you increase the potential, the probability. That's the word I'm looking for. You increase the probability that they're going to be addicted to a substance. You increase the probability that they're going to be addicted to a substance. That's why. So when you hear, like back in the days, you would hear Martin or Malcolm, you know, the brothers going in and they'd be like, yeah, look around you. It's liquor stores on every corner. They don't have that out in the suburbs. You can't find that out in the suburbs and blah, 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 stuff like that. It's still that way, but you got to think the liquor stores is not going to be there without something to drive you into the liquor store, right? So the liquor stores is there, but that's a part of it. The crack is on the block, the dope is on the block, but that's a part of it, right? You got to ask yourself, it's 2024. You never ask yourself, how is it new dope fiends in 2024? Like, how is it new crack addicts? Like after what we went through in the 80s, how you finding new people to try out crack? Like everybody on earth should know, like how you go somewhere, you at a party and they just pass around some crack and you're like, oh yeah, let me get a little hit of that. Like how Sway? Like how did you, you know what I'm saying? Like how is you getting, how do they have new crackheads? Like how does crack still make money? How does dope still make money? Before we was born, I'm 47 years old. Before I was born, folks knew about dope. So how is it that it's still new dope fiends? Like, how is that happening? You know what I'm saying? Like, so there's a push. There's a push and there's a biological push from within. The right conditions just have to be set, right? Loneliness taps into that area in the brain. And guess what? That almond plays a star role. That almond that we just spent 4 hours talking about, that almond, that amygdala plays a key role in this whole program. So it's not just a matter of, you know, I see a lot of people like the prayer video. These videos all together. Because these books is all together. This information goes together. So it's not just the secret of prayer. Oh, EnQi found the secret of prayer, because all of these structures are built together. So when we talk about the spine and the entorhinal cortex and the hippocampus, those things is sitting on top or sit beneath, right? The amygdala. All of these structures go together. Your brain is a network of processing units. Each processing unit processes a different type of information. And then your brain has to synthesize that information. So I'm getting ready to show you how this whole thing go. You know what I'm saying? So this is why the devil got to come with something you familiar with. The devil has to build out of the church, build out of the Bible, build out of the Quran, build out of what they left in the papyri, the hieroglyphs. Like the devil has to work through those structures, because those structures you already intimately intertwined with. And they're attractive. And when you don't know any better and you have that inclination on the inside to move towards those things, they can catch you right there looking susceptible, right? When you want to get spiritual and get deep, and they see you coming, and they like, oh yeah, let me teach you about them chakras. Let me show you about them chakras. I got that chakra work right here for you. Yeah, let me show you this chakra work. We're gonna get to that chakra work right here with this baby oil. We're gonna get that whole spiritual activation happening for you.
The gods have blessed us. We must act now. We must act now to save us, to save our souls.
Hidden secrets of the universe. Welcome to this fascinating journey through the veils of the mysterious and the unknown. Today, we will delve into the depths of esoteric knowledge, where magic and mystery intertwine in a sublime manner. In this portal between worlds, we will unravel the enigmas that the human mind has only dared to imagine, exploring occultism in its purest form. Here, reality blends with illusion. Verbal becomes the key that unlocks the unveiled secrets of the cosmos. And remember, my friends, do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law. Throughout this journey, we will unveil the mysteries of alchemy, reveal the secrets of the stars, and dive deep into ceremonial magic. I invite all of you to abandon conventions and allow your minds to open to the unknown. Prepare yourselves to challenge the boundaries of what is considered possible and to question the nature of reality. However, remember that the pursuit of occult knowledge requires courage, discipline, and a deep respect for the balance between light and shadow. My dear seekers of hidden knowledge, hidden knowledge, hidden knowledge, hidden knowledge, hidden knowledge, hidden knowledge.
Can Doc B touch more on the anus? Oh my gosh. In utero, they say that the first muscle to be created is the anus. And almost all your muscles in your body and also your meridians come together in the anus. I wasn't there, I wasn't watching it, but this makes a lot of sense because that's what holds you together. That's what holds everything in. You see, so that's at the bottom of the pelvis. It's this tightening everything. That's your digestive tract. Everything ends there. It is directly opposite your pineal, as above, so below. How you put pressure on it, you have to start at the anus. We talk about this in God Power 2. God Power 1. Please go get God Power 1. If you can't find it, go to elevationtime.com. We still have it there on the website. You can go get God Power 1. But you start this exercise by squeezing the anus.
A man has something called a G-spot, too. Okay. And the only way you can get through it is through his anus.
Nah, I don't want my son under no nigga like that.
They not like us. They not like us. They not like us. Radio.
All right. Okay. So we're gonna get to work now. We're gonna get into this now. We hopefully y'all ready. All right, we're gonna tackle this goat thing. So where should we go to start this? Actually, we probably should. We probably should just go right into the Bible. Right? I think that would probably be the most sensible place for us to tackle this. Right? That would probably be the most sensible place for us to tackle this. We might as well just go right into the Bible. Right. Okay, no, I had it right the first time. Okay. All right, so let's warm this thing up nice and slowly. Let's warm this thing up nice and slowly. Let's start with Proverbs. All right, let's go to Proverbs.
The gods have blessed us. We must act now. We must act now to save us, to save our souls.
All right, so let's start here. Proverbs 27. Boast not thyself of tomorrow, for thou knowest not what a day may bring forth. All right, we're gonna skip down. Yeah, we're gonna skip down to about. Let's skip down to 20. Hell and destruction are never full, so the eyes of man are never satisfied. As the fining pot for silver and the furnace for gold, so is a man to his praise. Though thou shouldest bray a fool in a mortar among wheat with a pestle, yet will not his foolishness depart from him. Be thou diligent to know the state of thy flocks, and look well to thy herds. For riches are not forever, and doth the crown endure to every generation. The hay appeareth, and the tender grass showeth itself, and herbs of the mountains are gathered. The lambs are for thy clothing, and the goats are the price of the field. And thou shalt have goat's milk enough for thy food, for the food of thy household, and for the maintenance of thy maidens. Right? We're just going to warm this thing on up. Right? We're going to warm it up. We're just going to examine certain places in the Bible where goats, you know, where goats pop up, because I don't understand how. Well, I do understand, and we'll get to that later, how the mental programming came in, the brainwash. We're gonna get to all of it. We're gonna get to all of it, because Jesus is the lamb. I don't understand. If Jesus is the lamb, how is the goat the devil? Like that just is crazy. But we're gonna dig into all of it. Right. In the 3rd year of the reign, King Belshazzar, a vision appeared unto me, even unto me, Daniel, after that which appeared unto me at the first. And I saw in a vision, and it came to pass when I saw, that I was at Shushan, in the palace, which is in the province of Elam. And I saw in a vision, and I was by the river of Ule. Then I lifted up mine eyes and saw, and behold, there stood before the river a ram, which had 2 horns, and the 2 horns were high, but one was higher than the other, and the higher came up last. I saw the ram pushing westward and northward and southward, so that no beast might stand before him. Neither was there any that could deliver out of his hand, but he did according to his will and became great. And as I was considering, behold, an he-goat came from the west on the face of the whole earth, and touched not the ground. And the goat had a notable horn between his eyes. And he came to the ram that had 2 horns, which I had seen standing before the river, and ran unto him in the fury of his power. And I saw him come close unto the ram, and he was moved with choler against him, and smote the ram, and brake his 2 horns. And there was no power in the ram to stand before him, but he cast him down to the ground and stamped upon him. And there was none that could deliver the ram out of his hand. Therefore, the he-goat waxed very great. And when he was strong, the great horn was broken. And for it came up 4 notable ones toward the 4 winds of heaven. And out of one of them came forth a little horn, which waxed exceedingly great towards the south, towards the east, and toward the pleasant land. And it waxed great, even to the host of heaven. And it cast down some of the host and of the stars to the ground and stamped upon them. Yet he magnified himself even to the prince of the host. And by him, the daily sacrifice was taken away, and the place of the sanctuary was cast down, and a host was given him against the daily sacrifice by reason of transgression, and it cast down the truth to the ground, and it practiced and prospered. And then I heard one saint speaking, and another saint said unto that certain saint which spake, how long shall be the vision concerning the daily sacrifice and the transgression of desolation, to give both the sanctuary and the host to be trodden underfoot? And he said unto me, unto 2,300 days, then shall the sanctuary be cleansed. And it came to pass when I, even David, had seen the vision and sought for the meaning, then behold, there stood before me as the appearance of a man, And I heard a man's voice between the banks of Ule, which called and said, Gabriel, make this man to understand the vision. So he came near where I stood. And when he came, I was afraid and fell upon my face. He was afraid and prostrate. Remember, we found afraid and prostrate was together with the Ammon. So just keep that in mind. But he said unto me, understand, O son of man, for at the time of the end shall be the vision. Now, as he was speaking with me, I was in a deep sleep on my face toward the ground, but he touched me and set me upright. And he said, behold, I will make thee know what shall be in the last end of the indignation. For at that time appointed the end shall be. The ram which thou sawest having 2 horns are the kings of Media and Persia. And the rough goat is the king of Grecia. And the great horn that is between his eyes is the first king. Now that being broken, whereas 4 stood up for it, 4 kingdoms shall stand up out of the nation, but not in his power. And in the latter time of their kingdom, when the transgressors are come to the full, a king of fierce countenance and understanding dark sentences shall stand up, and his power shall be mighty, but not by his own power. And he shall destroy wonderfully, and shall prosper and practice, and shall destroy the mighty and the holy people. And through his policy also he shall cause craft to prosper in his hand, and he shall magnify himself in his heart, and by peace shall destroy many. He shall also stand up against the prince of princes, but he shall be broken without hand. And the vision of the evening and the morning which was told is true. Wherefore shut thou up the vision, it shall be for many days. And I, Daniel, fainted and was sick certain days. Afterward I rose up and did the king's business. And I was astonished at the vision, but none understood it. So right here, we got 2 different places that we went, right? So the first place, we see lamb and goats for food. We see lamb and goat, you know, they selling the goats to pay for the land that they raising their food on. They're using the lambs for food. Then here, we see a completely different, a totally different story, right? We see a ram and a goat going at it, right? We see a ram and a goat going at it. And we see the power of the ram and the goats is their horns, right? The power of the rams and the goats is their horns. Now, these horns represent nations and kings, right? The horns represent nations and kings, and not just necessarily the nation and the king, but it represents the power that the nation and the king is ruling with. That's very important for you to get. If you're taking notes, write that down, right? That horns in the Bible represent the power of which kings and nations rule, right? I need that to go in your notebook. That's we on that. That right there. That right there. We could shut this whole program down like that. If you got that, you got it. Like that's. If you got that, you got it, right? But we're gonna keep building. We got a lot of work to do. And trust me, I know what we on. We're supposed to be dealing with the goat versus the Baphomet, but we are. Right? We are. We just building. Right? We just building. Right now we looking at different places in the Bible where goats, rams, horns, sheeps, different places where they mean different things. Right? So here we are in Matthew. Right? So Old Testament, New Testament, you know what I'm saying? Like Biggie said, old school, new school, need to learn, no. Right? And before him shall be gathered all nations, and he shall separate them one from another, as a shepherd divideth his sheep from the goats. So again, right? Again, there's a metaphor here where nations are now not necessarily being compared to the horns, right? Nations are now being compared to the sheep, and nations are being compared to the goats, right? Metaphorically. Right? Metaphorically, we just need to walk it through. Right? Now, let's do this. Let's do this. Let's switch it up a bit. Can y'all see what I'm doing? No, y'all cannot. Okay, I got you. We over here. I gotta be able to figure. Oh, that's what I gotta do. I gotta use the other switching thing. There's another thing to switch where it's smoother. Okay, so now let's take a look over here. Right? We're gonna go to Egypt for a second. We're gonna jump over to Egypt. Right? What you got over here? Britannica? What you doing, Britannica? Right? Okay, you got Khnum here. Khnum. Right? That might be a little small though. Let's jump back out of here. Let's see if we can find here. Oh, it goes crazy when we come over here. Right? Hold on.
The gods have blessed us. We must act now. We must act now to save us, to save our souls.
All right. My bad. All right. So here we got Khnum. Right? Here we got Khnum. Okay, this is a good one right here. Here we got Khnum, right? Now this is a very provocative hieroglyph. Right? Because here we got Khnum, and Khnum is actually making the first man right here out of clay, out of mud, right? So I just want y'all to be able to see, right, where the origin of the first Harry Potter came from. This is the first Harry Potter, right? This is the concept of Harry Potter. Harry Potter starts here, right? What's the story of Harry Potter? Harry Potter is about the magical beings and the what? The mudbloods, right? The mudbloods. The mudbloods are the regular non-magical people, right? So you got Harry Potter making the non-magical people, right? So you know, some of y'all like, okay, well, we don't know about Khnum. Okay, well, you're gonna learn a little bit about Khnum today. You're gonna learn a little bit about Khnum today. I just want you to soak this picture in, though. All right, I just want you to be able to soak this picture in. All right, so we went to the Bible, right? We got some ideas from the Bible about the goats, right? Now we over here. We didn't get too deep, but we got some idea. Let's see what a quick wiki will give us. Khnum, Khnemu, was one of the earliest known Egyptian deities in Upper Egypt, originally associated with the Nile cataract. He held responsibility of regulating the annual inundation of the river, emanating from the caverns of Hapi, the deity embodying the flood. Okay, so now we got the flood story, right? We got the flood story associated with the goat. Just saying. Since the annual flooding of the Nile brought with it silt and clay, and its water brought life to its surroundings, he eventually became known as the creator of human bodies and the life force, using a potter's wheel and clay. Right? And then also, they have him here holding the Wa scepter and an Ankh. Using a potter wheel and clay, he fashioned these entities and placed them within their mother's wombs. Often, creative endeavors were overseen by another god. Full stop right there. So now when we talk about IVF technology, that's literally what they're doing with IVF babies. They're fashioning the baby and then they're inserting it in the mother's womb. Right? I'm just saying, we point this stuff out when we see it. Right? Worship of Khnum spanned from the first dynasty and persisted into the Greco-Roman period. All right, that's very important because the Greco-Roman period is what I call the Greco-Roman period is what I call the pre-Satanist era. The pre-Satanist era. So the early concepts of what today's satanic movement or satanic cult, their precepts form in the Greco-Roman period. That's when you have the pansexual ideas and all of those things starting right in this period, the Greco-Roman period, in Greece and in Rome, right? The very symbol of Rome is bestiality, right? You may not think of it that way, but the symbol of Rome is bestiality, right? Let me see. Right? That's bestiality. Right? Their very symbol is bestiality. Right? Now, under the surface level of the bestiality, we have some other concepts that we can pull from this. Right? We have some other concepts that we can pull from this. Right? Because there's a great dog that represents a nation as well. So there's a lot that we got to talk through here. But just on the surface level, this is bestiality. Period. There's no other way around that. Right? Hold on. Where was we at? Wait, where did that just popped up? Oh, here you go. There's that. So this right here is going to play a prominent role because the horns of Ammon are actually in the Bible. Right? So we're going to look at the horns of Ammon in the Bible. Right? Or maybe a concept of it loosely associated. We'll get to it. Right? We're going to get to it all. Right? Because this is important to be able to totally map this out and separate this thing and figure out who, where, what, when, and why. Right? Because this is not only historical, but this is modern. This is modern. So once we get to what a horn actually is, then it's going to go crazy from there. That's when we're going to really go crazy. So it starts slow because we got to build the database. I'm trying to build the knowledge base, right? Before we like shift gears and go crazy. So, all right. So you got an idea of what's going on right here, right? So we got a Kemetic. We got some Bible references. We got some Kemetic references. Now we need to get some anatomical references. Right? Let's get some anatomical references in. Right? Let's get some anatomical references in. Right? Now, I've been showing y'all this for a long time for a reason. Right? Because this right here is what your brain looks like from the bottom. Is what your brain looks like from the bottom. Lateral ventricles, the third ventricle, and the fourth ventricle. The third ventricle is the most important feature of your entire brain. The third ventricle is what makes your brain work. Like literally. All of the features of your brain are brought together in the third ventricle. The third ventricle is what makes the entire brain work. And guess what happens when you have high blood pressure? Oh my God. You didn't know high blood pressure attacks that third ventricle, did you? Did you know that high blood pressure attacks the third ventricle? Right? This is how the high blood pressure attacks your cognitive ability, because it attacks your third ventricle here. Right? So the goat is built in. right? The goat is built in. This is in your brain. This is the primary structures of your brain, right? Built in. Now, I know some people, right? I know how we work. We need to see it a little bit more detailed than that, right? We need to see a little bit more detailed than that. Let me see. Ooh. I ain't worried about the plug. You almost burned yourself up. Okay, let's go over here. Let's go deeper into the anatomy. Right? Let's go deeper into the anatomy. Let me see something. All right. Do you see that? You see that pop out? Let me see. Did those colors pop up on your screen as well? Okay, beautiful. So not only did I just show you that the ventricles themselves form a goat or a ram, right? But you have horns. That same ventricle system is defined by horns. Right? So this is not like we making this stuff up, right? Each lateral ventricle resembles a C-shaped cavity that begins at an inferior horn in the temporal lobe, travels through a body in the parietal lobe and the frontal lobe, and ultimately terminates at the intraventricular foramina, where each lateral ventricle, connects to a single central third ventricle. Right? Hopefully y'all can see that. You see that rotating skull there? Did that pop up? Did that pop up? Everything's popping. Okay, good. Everything is popping up. Okay. So you can see the ventricle system, right? They were so mad with me when I said all these Kemetic teachers all this time, they had the Aya Heru wrong. The Aya Heru doesn't represent any physical structures in the brain. The Aya Heru represents the ventricle system in the brain. And all you got to do is look right there and see it. It's spinning right there in front of you. That's the Aya Heru right there. Right? That's the Aya Heru right there. That's the goat. That's the ram. It's right there built into your brain. Right? Along the path, a posterior horn extends backward into the occipital lobe, and an anterior horn extends farther into the frontal lobe. So we're just going through the ventricles, right? Anterior horns of the lateral ventricle. The anterior horn of the lateral ventricle is also known as the frontal horn, as it extends into the frontal lobe. The anterior horn connects to the third ventricle via the interventricular foramen. This portion of the lateral ventricle impinges on the frontal lobe, passing anteriorly and laterally with slight inclination inferiorly. It is separated from the anterior horn of the other lateral ventricle by a thin neural sheet. We're going to skip down, right? The remaining boundary that facing interior to the ventricle curvature comprises the posterior edge of the caudate nucleus. Frontal horn cysts are sometimes found on the frontal horn as a normal variant. Cysts are never normal. They wildin', right? But I just want y'all to get this and understand. I just want y'all to understand this. I showed you in your anatomy, in your brain, the goat. But not only am I showing you the goat, but I'm showing you that the goat is defined. The anatomy of the goat is defined in your brain by horns, right? And we're not adding nothing or taking nothing away from this, right? The posterior horn of the lateral ventricle or occipital horn impinges on the occipital lobe in a posterior direction, initially laterally, but subsequently curving medially and lilting inferiorly on the lateral side. Now we're going to skip down, right? And immediately a light bulb should go off. I know for some of y'all, these big words is hurting your brain. I got you, but just relax. The inferior horn of the lateral ventricle or temporal horn is the largest of the horns. Okay? It's the largest of the horns. The temporal horn is the largest of the horn. It extends anteriorly from the atrium beneath the thalamus and terminates where? Okay, so if you didn't watch this morning's video, you might be a little bit out of the loop. If you didn't watch this morning's video, you might be a little bit out of the loop. All right, it's okay. We're going to get you cleaned up. We're going to get you right back where you need to be at, though. You're going to have to watch that video, though. For those of you that watched the video, you know that we just turned the fire up a little bit. You might have thought we just turned the fire up just a little bit for you, right? So the horns, the largest horn that you have in your brain connects to the almond, the amygdala, right? So we just gonna leave that like that. Now we're gonna leave that right there, right? So now we got 3 different places that we done look to see these goat, the ram, the horns, right? So now all of this, what I'm showing you, all of this so far exists thousands of years before there's a Baphomet, right? The Baphomet is invented, right? We know the Bible put together 2,000 years ago. We know when we look at these hieroglyphs on the walls, we know first dynasty was what? What's the first dynasty? 4,000 years ago, right? And I'm showing you your brain anatomy. So literally your brain anatomy existed as long as humans did. So you can forget about it, right? As long as humans existed, your brain anatomy existed. In fact, the most decidingly different feature of humans from other like primates or anything that even looks similar is the brain development, like our brain development. So, we just putting this right here. We have this, right? So there's that, right? So we got it, right? We should, you know what I'm saying? So far, we just turning up the fire a little bit. Just a little cooking, right? Just a little cooking. That's all we're doing right now. So now I think, now it makes sense maybe that we should go ahead and let's go ahead and introduce the Baphomet. Now let's go ahead and look at this Baphomet. Right? We looked in the Bible, we looked in Kemet, we looked inside you. We looked in the Bible, we looked in Kemet, we looked inside ourselves. Right? Now let's take a look at this Baphomet thing. Right? Let's look at the Baphomet. right? Baphomet is a deity that the Knights Templar were accused of worshiping that subsequently became incorporated into various occult and Western esoteric traditions. Okay, now let's take a full stop of this, right? Baphomet is a deity, right? A deity or God, right? Deity is a word for God. So not the God, not the Most High, not the Creator, but God nonetheless, a God, right? Now, the Knights Templar was accused of worshiping the Baphomet, but that's not a fact. That's fake, right? That's smut. That's smut that they put on their jacket. The Templars was not worshiping Baphomet. Okay, so we got to take that smut off their jacket, right? And that should be here. Wiki should have that here. If Wiki don't have, oh, okay, here we go. Here we go. Look. In the trial of the Templars, blah, 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 blah. Okay, the Baphomet was Mahomet, right? Hold on. Nah, they should do a better job of this. Come on now. Come on now. Okay, you got Eliphas, Levi. Okay, all right. All right, so we're going to get to it all. All right. But the name Baphomet is actually a Muslim thing. Oh, here it goes right here. Okay, bam. I was going to just tell you, I was going to explain it, but the term Baphomet is for Muhammad, right? Raymond Aguilar's A Chronicle of the First Crusade reports that the troubadours used the term Baphomet for Muhammad and Baphomeria for mosque, right? The name Baphomets later appears in 1195 in the provincial poems Senhores por los Nostros Pecas by the troubadour Govardin. Around 1250, a provincial poem by Asteric de Arhak bewailing the defeat of the Seventh Crusade again uses the name Baphomet for Muhammad. The Baphomet is also the title of one of 4 surviving chapters of an Occultan translation of Raymond Lull's earliest known work, Libre de la Doctrine Peril. Baphomet was allegedly worshipped as a deity by the medieval order of Knights Templar. Okay, so that's not that. That's not that, right? The Templar was very much, there's a whole Templar story. We can't even get into the Templar story. Oh my goodness. We can't get into that right now, but just know that the Baphomet, that's not that, right? The Baphomet that they was talking about, that's a Muslim thing, right? That's a Muslim thing, which at the time is the Inquisition was a good enough reason to kill you viciously. Like that was good enough reason to kill you, right? That's what they was at. They was at war, Christians versus the Muslims at the time, right? So let's get to this guy, right? This is the guy right here, the star of the show. This is where the Baphomet really originates. What we know of as the Baphomet. So remember earlier, I gave you this chronology, right? I want y'all to write this down. Or I'll give you a little, right? We'll do this like this. Beverly, Blavatsky, Crowley, Parsons. Right? These are the major figures. There's a whole bunch of Satanists along the way, but these are the major figures. Right? These are the major figures. Right? And all you got to do is plug and play with these guys. All you got to do is plug and play with these guys. Right? He's a minor figure. He's not a major figure. He's a minor figure. Right? The possible reasons that saw Levi departure from St. Sulpice Seminary in 1836 are expressed in the following quote by A.E. Waite. Levi seems, however, to have conceived strange views on doctrinal subjects, though no particulars are forthcoming, and being deficient in gifts of silence, the displeasure of authority was marked by various checks, ending finally in his expulsion from the seminary. Right? So you'll notice a common theme with the people that gravitated to the occult science. Right? God is very strict on homosexuality. God is very strict on homosexuality. So a lot of these guys have this in common. A lot of these guys have this in common. Right? All right. Wait a minute. His magical teachings were free from obvious fanaticisms, even if they remained rather obscure, and he had nothing to sell. He did profess himself to be a poor and obscure scholar who has found the lever of Archimedes. Right? Now, we talked about that in a whole nother conversation. The lever of Archimedes. There's no lever of Archimedes. Right? The first ever lever is the scale used for the weighing of the heart ceremony. The scale depicted in the weighing of the heart ceremony. That is the first lever known to man, at least from our written history. Right? So you got to remember that Greco-Roman period is about rewriting stuff. They were just grabbing stuff and repackaging. Right? The original Puff Daddy group. Right? So anyway, he did not pretend to be the initiate of an ancient or fictitious secret society. He incorporated tarot cards into his magical system, and as a result, the tarot has been an important part of paraphernalia of Western magicians. He had a deep impact on the magic of the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn, and later on, ex-Golden Dawn member Aleister Crowley. He was also the first to declare the pentagram or five-pointed star with 1 point down and 2 points up represents evil, while a pentagram with 1 point up and 2 points down represents good. Levi's ideas influenced Blavatsky and the Theosophical Society. Okay, so this is very much a key figure. He's not a main figure. He's a key figure. Right? He's a key figure. Right? He's a key figure. Crowley, Blavatsky. Right? Crowley, Blavatsky. Just keep this all in. Now let's get back to the Sabbatic goat. In the 19th century, the name of Baphomet became further associated with the occult. Eliphas Levi published Dogma and Ritual Dogma and Ritual of High Magic in 2 volumes, in which he included an image he had drawn himself. Okay? I need y'all to understand this. An image he had drawn himself, which he described as Baphomet and the Sabbatic goat, showing a winged humanoid figure with a pair of breasts and a torch on his head between his horns. The image has become the best known representation of Baphomet. Levi considered the Baphomet to be a depiction of the absolute in symbolic form and explicated in detail his symbolism in drawing that served as the frontispiece. Now, here again, I have to repeat. Time, space, light, and sound are created in your mind. The whole purpose of ritual is to remember something that already happened or to create something that does not yet exist. So, when Levi created the Baphomet, he gave birth to this creature and everything that went along with it. Right? So he created the Baphomet. There was no drawing, there's no picture of a breast, androgynous. That doesn't exist. You're not going to go in Kemet and see Khnum somewhere with, male genitalia and female genitalia. That only came from these guys. Right? That only came from these guys. Now, if it was only for Eliphas Levi, and this is why I don't include him in that little history. The reason I don't include him in that history is because his ideas would have died with him if it wasn't for the mass teachers. He was somebody who created a bunch of stuff, but he wasn't a mass teacher. Crowley was a mass teacher. Blavatsky was a mass teacher, right? They were the mass teachers that crossed over with their teachings. Beverly was the guy who laid the foundation for this, especially in the Black community. And anybody who's a student of Bobby Hemmett, you don't realize that you're a student of Pascal Beverly Randolph. Because Bobby Hemmett was a big-time student of Beverly Randolph and Blavatsky. And the whole entire channel that Rich has is dedicated to that. The whole channel is that. Billycarson's whole concept, his whole page, his whole platform is that forbidden knowledge. What forbidden knowledge? The only forbidden knowledge that we've ever known about is this occult science of forbidden carnal knowledge, that anal program, that chakra program they into. So if you know what a thing is when you see it, it immediately makes sense to you. Right? It immediately makes sense to you. Now, hold on. Let me. Now, let me show you something, how far this thing done went. Oh, my God. My phone is dead. All right. That's all right. While that's charging, we're going to keep cooking. But I'm going to show you how far this thing done went. Okay. So now what we have so far is Christianity, Judaism, Freemasonry, and Islam, right? Along with comedic science, all rolled into this idea, right? All rolled into this idea. Right? All rolled into this idea. No. We gotta be diligent. We gotta be diligent with our study with this. Right? We gotta be diligent with our study with this. Right? We gotta be diligent with our study with this. Right? We gotta be diligent with our study with this. Right? We're gonna go through all of this. We ain't ducking no smoke. We ain't ducking no smoke. Right? Because these groups, they're going to take some masonry. They're going to take Muslim ideas, all of the things that's attractive to you. They're going to take all of the systems that your ancestors created. And this is how they come into this melting pot. Levi believed that the alleged devil worship of the medieval witches' Sabbath was a perpetuation of ancient pagan rites. A goat with a candle between his horn appears in medieval witchcraft records, and other pieces of lore are cited in dogma and ritual, right? So in this book, basically, he tells you that he's grabbing different ideas from different spaces, mixing it up into one, basically one logo. Now think about that. Hold that for a second. The logos, right? Think about that. The logos. Now we know of logos today in the world where everybody want to be an entrepreneur. We know of logo as something you draw up for your business. But the logos was the word, right? In the beginning was the word, and the word was, that's the logos. Think about how that word has now everybody has a logo, right? You can get a logo for $20. You can go on Fiverr and get a logo, right? So just so we see where this is from. Now, Levi's references to the School of Alexandria and the Templars could be explained against a background of debates about the origin and character of true Christianity. It's been pointed out that these debates included contemporary forms of romantic socialism and utopian socialism, which were seen as the heirs of Gnostics, Templars, and other mystics. Full stop. Socialism is a part of the Democratic Party philosophy. That can't be disputed. You could dispute a lot of this other stuff, but that's just saying. Levi, being himself an adherent of these schools since the 1840s, regarded the socialists and romantics as the successors of this alleged tradition of true religion. So, the guy who invented the Baphomet is a socialist, right? That's not disputable. All right, this is slow cooking, right? This is slow cooking, but this is what it is. Okay, Levi was a socialist, right? In fact, his narrative mirrors historiographies of socialism, including the Histoire des Montagnards by his best friend and political comrade, Alphonse Esquiros. Consequently, the Baphomet is depicted by Levi as the symbol of a revolutionary heretical tradition that would soon lead to the emancipation of humanity and the establishment of a perfect social order. I just want to say thank you to the people who have given me their patience to work this far. I just want to say thank you for your patience and attention, because I know that you know now that we done turned this thing up. We turned it up a little bit, then it kind of, the fire, we had to put it on simmer. It's soup. We making the soup. So sometime when you making the perfect soup now, you gotta, it's like gumbo. It's a whole, so we cooking at a, the Baphomet does not only express historical political tradition, but also occult natural forces that are explained by his magical theory of astral light. He developed this notion in the context of what has been called spiritualist magnetism, theories that stress the religious implications of magnetism. Often their representatives were socialists that believed in the social consequences of a synthesis of religion and science that was to be achieved by the means of magnetism. Spiritualist magnetists with a socialist background include Baron du Potet and Henry Delage, who served as main sources for Levi, right? So now you're getting into some of his teachers, right? But what I want us to do is peek over here real quick. I just want to peek over here real quick, right? We just want to peek over here real quick at his best friend. This is his best friend. His best friend was a member of the Legislative Assembly, and in 1876, he was elected to the Senate. I just wanted to peek over here real quick. Just real quick. We just popping over here to check his best friend out. This is main man. Right? This is main man. They put this play together. They worked on this together. Right? Let me read that sentence back to you again. In fact, his narrative mirrors historiographies of socialism, including Histoire des Montagnards by his best friend and political comrade. Okay? So I want y'all to understand the Satan worship already was in the schools. The Satan worship was already in the government. The Satan worship, okay? I want y'all to be on. Okay, all right, okay, all right. We simmering this thing here, right? So where was we at? We were somewhere down here. Baron du Potet and Henry Delage, who served as main sources. Okay, blah, 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 blah. Okay, no, we're not going to blah, blah, blah that. At the same time, Levi polemicized against famed Catholic authors such as Jules Eds de Merville and Roger Gognet Mose, who regarded magnetism as the working of demons and other infernal powers. The paragraph just before the passage cited in the previous section has to be seen against this background. Let us now state, for the edification of the vulgar, for the satisfaction of M. Lecomte de Merville, for the justification of demonologist Bowden, for the greater glory of the church which persecuted Templars, burnt magicians, excommunicated Masons, and let us state boldly and precisely that all the inferior initiates of the occult sciences and profaners of the great arcanum not only did in the past, but do now and will ever adore what is signified by this alarming signal. Mendes is the Greek name for the ancient Greek city of Jedet. Full stop. We're getting ready to go from first gear to second gear, right? We're getting ready to move this thing all the way up, right? Mendes is the Greek name for the ancient Egyptian city of Jedet. Levi equates his image with the goat of Mendes, possibly following the account by Herodotus that the goat of Mendes was depicted with a goat's face and legs. Goat's face and legs. It says nothing about genitalia, right? Just you got to preface that. Herodotus relates how all male goats were held in great reverence by Mendesians, and how in his time a woman publicly copulated with a goat. The chief deities of Mendes were the ram deity Bane Jedet, who was the Ba of Osiris, and his consort, the fish goddess Hat Mehit. Now, let's stop right there. Let's stop right there for a second. Matter of fact, we gotta take a break. We gotta take a break because we getting ready. We cooking now.
Myron.
Matter of fact, hold on. We ain't even gonna do that. Wait, dang, did I move the jaw? Is the jaw there? Hold up, I was at the jaw right there. I'll pull it up.
The gods have blessed us. We must act now. We must act now to save us, to save our souls.
Dear seekers of the hidden secrets of the universe, welcome to this fascinating journey through the veils of the mysterious and the unknown. Today, we will delve into the depths of esoteric knowledge, where magic and mystery intertwine in a sublime manner. In this portal between worlds, we will unravel the enigmas that the human mind has only dared to imagine, exploring occultism in its purest form. Here, reality blends with illusion. Verbal becomes the key that unlocks the unveiled secrets of the cosmos. And remember, my friends, do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law. Throughout this journey, we will unveil the mysteries of alchemy, reveal the secrets of the stars, and dive deep into ceremonial magic. I invite all of you to abandon conventions and allow your minds to open to the unknown. Prepare yourselves to challenge the boundaries of what is considered possible and to question the nature of reality. However, remember that the pursuit of occult knowledge requires courage, discipline, and a deep respect for the balance between light and shadow. My dear seekers of hidden knowledge, hidden knowledge, hidden knowledge, hidden knowledge, hidden knowledge, hidden knowledge.
Can Doc B touch more on the anus? Oh my gosh. In utero, they say that the first muscle to be created is the anus. And almost all your muscles in your body and also your meridians come together in the anus. Now, I wasn't there, I wasn't watching it, but this makes a lot of sense because that's what holds you together. That's what holds everything in. You see, So that's at the bottom of the pelvis. It's tightening everything. That's your digestive tract. Everything ends there. It is directly opposite your pineal. As above, so below. How you put pressure on it, you have to start at the anus. We talk about this in God Power 2. God Power 1. Please go get God Power 1. If you can't find it, go to elevationtime.com. We still have it there on the website. You can go get God Power 1. But you start this exercise by squeezing the anus.
A man has something called a G-spot too. Okay. And the only way you can get through it is through his anus.
Nah, I don't want my son under no nigga like that.
They not like us. They not like us. They not like us. Radio. 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 Baby girl is on. Baby girl is on.
Okay, now let's go on over here. Let's check out my man Bane Jadet. His wife, goddess Hatmehit, god of Mendes. Their offspring was Horus the child. Okay. So, okay, that's what I was, so the offspring is Horus the child. So what you really need is the whole actual real story. And that's not here. Okay, so they don't give the story. Okay. So if you're not familiar, right? I've told this story a few times, but if you're not familiar, everything is right here for you, right? Everything is right here for you, right? So the first thing is the word for ram and soul is almost identical in the Egyptian. And I showed you the place of your soul, right? We went through the anatomy. Right? So we went through that. But Horus, you know Horus's parents not as Bane Jadet and Hatmehit. You don't know that those people or these names, right? What we're talking about is spirits. These are souls here, right? These are souls. So what happened is when Osiris was killed, right? When Osiris was killed, these are the mysteries of Osiris now. This is like inner chamber, right? This is real occult stuff. This ain't got nothing to do with no trans, nothing, pansexual, nothing, no Satan worshiping. This is the origin of our today's modern science starts with Osiris. Today's modern mystery schools, religions, all of these things, it all starts with Osiris, okay? Osiris was tricked. He was killed. This is the super short version. And in order to keep the bloodline going, right? Isis needed help to find his body parts, right? Some stories say they found all of them. Some stories say they didn't. They found the penis. They didn't find the penis. A fish swallowed it. All the bottom line, though, is Isis. Now, some people will ridicule the story and say, oh, so Isis had sex with a dead body and made a child. You know what I'm saying? But that's not how the story goes. Isis copulated or had sex with the soul of Osiris. So that's where the story of a woman has sex with a goat. A woman didn't have sex with an actual goat, right? The goat is his soul. The soul is based on the inner part of your intellect, the inner part of your consciousness that resides in the waters of the body. Those waters particularly are the cerebral spinal fluid, right? That's the spine and the brain. The waters, those are your holy waters, at least in this context, right? So the soul of Osiris, the Ba of Osiris, is what was brung back by Anubis and Shu, particularly, so that Isis could then have Horus, right? So this is the first or most popular. This is a more popular early version of Immaculate Conception, where Mary was impregnated by the angel Gabriel, right? The Holy Spirit, Gabriel. Isis was impregnated by the Holy Spirit of Osiris, right? Isis was impregnated by the Holy Spirit of Osiris, and Horus is that child. All right. So there's nothing pansexual or transsexual or multisexual or androgynous about that. It's about, the whole story centers around man, woman, and child, and how a woman was so desperate to keep her family together even when her husband was killed. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's about the man, woman, and child, the man, woman, and child, the family unit, the reproductive unit of humankind, right? That's what was deified. Now, what you have to understand about people that operate outside of the binary gender system, right? They do not have the ability to reproduce. What are you talking about, EnQi? Of course they do, unless they change their body parts. You know, naturally, a gay person has the ability, their body works, they can. What I'm saying to you is, if a gay man and a gay woman decided they wanted to have a baby, the baby doesn't come out gay. 9 out of 10 times, the baby is going to be a straight heterosexual woman, or a male or female, right? So, and that's in a hypothetical situation, because gay men and gay women don't sleep together, right? Gay women do their thing with other women, gay men do their thing with other men. And when you have man on man, that definitely cannot produce a child. No matter what Mark Lamont Hill is running around teaching people. And when you have woman on woman, that cannot produce a child, right? So in that context, the only way to grow the population of gay people is to convince straight people to convert, right? So a man and a woman could just have children. Those children grow up to have children, blah, 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 blah. The population replenishes itself. The population of gay people, they have to pull people from the population of straight people in order to increase the population. Now, left alone to its own, it might grow and it might shrink. Who knows? But in order to definitely grow the population, they have to convince. They have to take straight people or straight kids or whatever the case may be. They have to convert people over, right? And you'll see that as a common theme with these different occult understandings and groups and occult leaders, right? Like we looked at Pascal Beverly Randolph earlier. Okay, all right. So now we can ready to go back to the Bible now. We can ready to go back to the Bible for a second now. Because we still just laying the background, laying the foundation. We still laying foundation, right? We might have a couple of highlight films, you know, a couple nice little layups or a couple nice 3-pointers or dunks, but we ain't really start to cooking yet. This ain't even, we just, right? Okay, so now let's go back over here. We got to establish some different ideas with goats, right? So we got holy goats. We got holy goats and unholy goats, right? We got in the Bible, though, we got, well, we're going to keep working, right? In the Bible, we got some different, in the Bible, we got a collection of unholy, holy, food, goats to be killed and sold for money, and just, so goat is a variety, right? Which is important because this contributes to the confusion where people go, oh yeah, that's all devil worship. And if you think that way, then you're lost. There's no salvation for you. You're not gonna, you can't really understand what's going on out here. There's no way for you to possibly understand what's going on out here. So that's why I want to arm you, right? Because we're getting ready to, because it's going to start to look different when we go to Exodus. Okay, so now we're going to go over to Exodus, and it's going to start to look different. Okay. And Bezaleel made the ark of shittim wood. 2 cubits and a half was the length of it, and 1.5 cubits the breadth of it, and 1.5 cubits the height of it. And he overlaid it with pure gold within and without, and made a crown of gold to round about it, to it round about. Made a crown of gold to it round about. And he cast for it 4 rings of gold to be set by the 4 corners of it, even 2 rings upon the one side of it, and 2 rings upon the other side of it. And he made staves of shittim wood and overlaid them with gold. And he put the staves into the rings by the sides of the ark to bear the ark. And he made the mercy seat of pure gold. 2.5 cubits was the length thereof, and 1.5 cubits the breadth thereof. And he made 2 cherubims of gold, beaten out of one piece, made he them. Right? So he made 2 cherubims out of one piece of gold on the 2 ends of the mercy seat, and the cherub on the end on this side, and another cherub on the other end on that side. Out of the mercy seat made he the cherubims on the 2 ends thereof. And the cherubim spread out their wings on high, and covered their wings over the mercy seat, with their faces one to another. Even to the mercy seat were the faces of the cherubims. And he made the table of shittim wood. 2 cubits was the length thereof, and 1 cubit breadth thereof. And who knows what we describing right here? As I'm reading this, what am I describing? What are we talking about? What is this being built right here? Let me see if y'all awake. Is anybody awake? Or y'all just got Dr. EnQi playing in the background? Is anybody awake? Okay, y'all awake, but y'all don't know what's being built here. Yo, oh my God. I pray that this helps to lead people back to their ancestors. I pray this helps to bring people back to the Bible. I pray this helps to bring people to God. We are lost. Thank you. Oh my goodness. Thank you, Brian. Gee, woo. Thank you, Brian. I'm like, man, nobody know what this is. Jesus Christ, we in trouble. We in trouble. Because this is arguably like one of the most important things being built in the entire book, right? Okay, so let's keep with the Ark of the Covenant. Okay. He overlaid it with pure gold and made thereunto a crown. Okay, we got past that. All right, where was we at? We was with the gold and the four corners. Okay, anyway, we'll start here. Over against the border, there were rings, the places for the staves to bear the table. And he made the staves of shittim wood and overlaid them with gold to bear the table. And he made the vessels which were upon the table, his dishes and his spoons and his bowls and his covers to cover withal of pure gold. And he made the candlestick of pure gold. Of beaten work made he the candlestick. His shaft, his branch, his bowls, his knops, his flowers were of the same. And 6 branches going out of the side thereof. The branches of the candlesticks out of the one side, and 3 branches of candlesticks out the other side. 3 bowls made after the fashion of almonds in one branch. Okay, now. So we're just going to take note, right? Right there, 37. At 37, almonds pop up again. That's we just going to take note and we're going to keep it moving. Right? So almonds are popping up. Okay, now remember when we went through the brain anatomy, right? Remember we went through the brain anatomy. The temporal horn terminates at the almond right here, right? The temporal horn terminates at the almond right here. So remember, oh, wait, where was that? Remember we over here, the temporal horn terminates at the amygdala. I mean, the almond, right? So let's just make sure. I just want y'all to be, this. Okay, so now we got 3 bowls made after the fashion of amygdalas in one branch, a knot and a flower, and 3 bowls made like amygdalas in another branch, a knot and a flower. So throughout the 6 branches going out of the candlestick. And in the candlestick were 4 bowls made like amygdalas. I mean, almonds, his knops and his flowers, right? Okay. And a knot under 2 branches are the same, and a knot under 2 branches are the same, and the knot under 2 branches are the same according to the 6 branches going out of it, right? So here with the Ark of the Covenant, we're not dealing with rods and almonds. We're dealing with branches. Only thing is these are gold, right? These are gold. So this is just interesting. We're just going to let this just be interesting, right? And he made 7 lamps and his snuffers and snuff dishes of pure gold. 1 talent of pure gold made it, and all the vessels thereof. And he made the incense altar of shittim wood. The length of it was a cubit, and the breadth of it a cubit. And it was 4 square, and 2 cubits was the height of it. The horns thereof were, wait, what? I'm sorry, what just popped up on the Ark of the Covenant? So not only do we have almonds, we got horns. Okay, we got horns on the Ark of the Covenant. Okay, so let's just stop the presses for a second. We're going to stop the presses for a second because now we got horns on the Ark of the Covenant. Okay, we got almonds and we got horns. All right, this is very important. Right? We got horns on the Ark of the Covenant. All right? I'm just going to say it one more time and then I'm going to keep on going. We got horns on the Ark of the Covenant. Okay? He made the incense altar of shittim wood. The length of it was a cubit and the breadth of it a cubit. It was 4 square and 2 cubits was the height of it. The horns thereof were of the same. And he overlaid it with pure gold, both the top of it and the sides thereof round about, and the horns of it. Also he made unto it a crown of gold round about. And he made 2 rings of gold for it under the crown thereof by the 2 corners of it, upon the 2 sides thereof to be places for the staves to bear it withal. And he made the staves of shittim wood and overlaid them with gold. And he made holy anointing oil and pure incense with sweet spices according to the work of the apothecary. Okay. So we officially got horns We officially got horns on the Ark of the Covenant. All right. So now we're gonna peruse. We're just gonna peruse now. We perusing, right? Because now we got horns on the Ark of the Covenant. And so we looked earlier, and the horns represented the power of nations. Right? Remember earlier with the goat, and it had the two horns, and the ram with the two horns, and they crashed into each other, and then the four nations and the kings and all that. Don't forget none of that. All that's relevant. All that's relevant. Right? And why is that all relevant? Okay. Let me slow it down and put something. Let me give y'all a little recap so far so you can start to put this together a little bit. Okay. The Bible is telling you in plain English that the power of the mightiest nations is represented by these horns. Okay? Represented by these horns. So it stands to reason, if I want to create a nation powerful, if I want to make a powerful nation, right? If I want to make a powerful nation that's powerful enough to be like a Greece or Rome or Europe or America or something like that, right? Let's say just I'm putting a recipe together, right? The Bible just gave you a recipe for powerful nations. The powerful nations got horns. So now, and you obviously see the Israel has horns, right? Because Israel has the Ark of the Covenant. The Ark of the Covenant is their weapon to establish their power and all that. And the Ark of the Covenant got horns on it. Okay, so not only do they describe the other nations in power with horns, right? But they got theirs also too. They got their blueprint, how they drew theirs up, and they got the Ark of the Covenant. Ark of the Covenant got horns on it. So they doing their thing. They got horns too. So now, let's say fast forward. I'm a Jewish guy, right? Because Levi was a Jewish guy, right? So let's say Levi, I'm a Jewish guy, so that means that I'm well familiar with the Bible, right? I'm well familiar with the Bible. Let's go find our guy again. Where is he? Where is he? Okay, let's just pull up another joint. Right? Right? So say I want to become powerful. Right? I want to create my own nation of power. Right? He's well familiar with the Bible. Right? What does it say? His pen name, Eliphas Levi, was an anagram for his given name, which was Alphonse Louis in Hebrew. Right? So he's well familiar with the Bible. So as far as he's concerned, the blueprint would be what? If I want to have a powerful nation, I got to come with them horns. I got to come with them horns. The horns is part of the blueprint. Even if I don't understand the horns, right? If you go to somebody's house and you taste some food and you want to go back home and cook it, you ain't got to understand the recipe. You just got to know the ingredients. That's where you start at. So the Bible gives clear ingredients, like key things are ingredient. These horns is a key part of this program, right? I know y'all looking like, wait a minute, hold up. EnQi, it says that he was a Mason. No. Y'all not reading enough. Listen, I told you, all of these guys, they steal from Masonry. Look, this is what he said clearly, so we can stop this Masonry talk. I ceased being a Freemason at once because Freemasons excommunicated by the Pope did not believe in tolerating Catholicism. And the essence of Freemasonry is the tolerance of all beliefs. Now, that's him telling you. Before he got deep into this devil program, he stopped being a Mason. It's like I keep telling y'all, this don't got nothing to do with Masonry. These folks be doing their own Lone Ranger thing. Trust me. Right? But he learned the structure of Masonry from the inside out. And that's how these guys steal and make their satanic movements look like they're Masonic. Because they'll become Masons, learn how Masons structure their program, they'll learn the rituals, and then they'll leave Masonry and design their own rituals and their own structure based on what they learn, and start doing things in their own group that they would have been killed for if they tried those same things in Masonry. Right? But I'm just giving you the understanding that the horns is an integral part of the blueprint of power, right? And this guy, we already know that he was a part of a socialist agenda to build power. Him and his homeboys, that's what they was on. A socialist agenda, right? This is their program. Right? So these guys are very much a part of government. Very much a part of government. Right? In 1851, Napoleon III organized a coup that would soon end the Second Republic and give rise to the Second Empire. Levi saw the empire as the defender of the people and the restorer of public order. Right? So if you notice, Levi is down with the Napoleon crew. And what did the Napoleon crew do? They went to Egypt and blew it up. So even when they show you Egyptian iconography and all of that, these people wasn't about no Kemetic nothing. They was blowing it up. They was blowing it up, stealing as much as they could steal and doing orgies and all that down there, desecrating it. So don't get confused by the devil playing games. This guy is a Catholic, right? He's a Catholic. So that's like the same as saying, okay, the guy that invented the Baphomet was a Catholic. So obviously, like, you cannot use none of that stuff. The moment you allow these guys' costumes to confuse you, they already got you, right? So again, we just over here and we're just going to be perusing so that we can understand a little bit more of this horns thing. We want to get a little bit more of this horns thing. All right? We want to get a little bit more of this horns thing. Okay, so now what is this here? Right? God is the Lord, which hath showed us light. Bind the sacrifice with cords, even unto the horns of the altar. Okay, so the Ark of the Covenant has horns, and altars have horns. Right? It's important to see all this. It's important to see all this because we got to end this whole concept and get to what's really going on. Right? And I'm taking you through this we going fast way, the ski mask way with the ransom note. Right? We're going the fast way. Right? We're going the fast way. Let's see what we got here. All right, so we got Ezekiel. A lot of people, their favorite chapters is some of these Ezekiel, right? Afterward, he brought me to the gate, even the gate that looketh toward the east. Right? Ezekiel get deep. You know what I'm saying? Ezekiel get deep. But we're going to skip down. Right? Let's start here. This is the law of the house. Upon the top of the mountain, the whole limit thereof round about shall be most holy. Behold, this is the law of the house. And these are the measures of the altar after the cubits. So Ezekiel is breaking down how this altar is going to be built in this special place up on top of this mountain, right? Or at least that's what's being broken down here, right? The cubit is a cubit and a hand breadth. Even the bottom shall be a cubit, the breadth in the cubit, the border thereof, or the edge round about shall be a span, and this shall be a higher place of the altar. And from the bottom up, the ground even to the lower settle shall be 2 cubits, and the breadth 1 cubit. And from the lesser settle even to the greater settle shall be 4 cubits, and the breadth 1 cubit. So the altar shall be 4 cubits, and from the altar and upward shall be 4 horns. Four horns on the altar. More horns. More horns. So you got to resolve to yourself. You got to figure this out. Is this like a musical horn, or is these like rams and goats horns? But we already saw the rams and the goats. So we know that they're putting rams or goats horns, or at least something that looks like rams or goats horns, on altars in the Ark of the Covenant. And it's covered with gold. Sometimes they cover it with silver. Sometimes they cover it with copper. So yeah, we just got to figure this out. Right? We just got to figure this out. We just got to figure this out, right? Okay. I think it's time to maybe go. I think it's time to go jump back. See, we go into the Bible. That we need to go back to Egypt real quick. I think we need to go back to Egypt. I think we need to take a little trip. Let's take a little trip. Let's take a little trip. Let's go back over to Egypt. We don't even got a picture. We need a picture. Right? We need a picture. Yeah, any one of these will do. We'll just look at this page. Right? Okay. All right. So we back over here, Egypt. Right? We're back over here in Egypt. Good old Egypt. Now, over here in Egypt, in the Great Pyramid, we have an anomaly. We have an anomaly. Right? We have a couple things going on over here in the pyramid. One of the things is radio waves. So one of the things that we have going on with the pyramids is radio waves. And before we go off the deep end, I just want to point something out. Right? I just want to point something out. There's two things that you need to know, right? Before we go forward, right? Now, obviously, there's some settling that's been done. But The pyramid is 137 meters tall. 137 meters tall. And it's made out of 2.6 million blocks. Okay. 137 meters tall, 2.6 million blocks. Right? So that's the number 26, right? With a bunch of zeros. Right? Number 26 with a bunch of zeros. And 137. Now, why this is important is because Solomon's temple is a scale model of the pyramid. Solomon's temple is 13.7 meters. The pyramid is 137 meters. Solomon's temple is 13.7 meters. Right? These are not mistakes. Right? So it's a scale. It's a scale. Right? It's a scale model. Right? 18 to 21 inches per cubit, 30 cubits. That'll wind up 540 to 630 or 45 to 52.5 feet or 13.7 to 16 meters tall, to be exact. Right? So I just want to just make sure that we have that, like, okay. 137. Okay. Check. Got it. 226. Got it. Okay. Now, why is 26 important? Doc, why is 26, the number 26, important? Anybody know the number 26? Why is that important in the Bible? You funny. Yo, anybody? Brian, do you know why the number 26 is important in the Bible? What does the number 26 symbolize in the Bible? No. Come on, Brian. Anybody? No. The number 26 is important in the Bible because the number 26 is God's number. Right? The number 26 is God's number. Right? That's very important because the whole idea, or one of the main ideas to understand about the Hebrew language, is that every letter has a number. Every letter has a number. Right? Every letter has a number. And that number is important. Right? That number is important. That number is like a frequency. It's a power. Right? So when you turn the Hebrew letters into numbers, God's number in the Bible is 26. There you go. God's name. Correct. So, with that being said, with that being said, it's important to know that horns of the altar, that phrase right there, horns of the altar, is also in the Bible 26 times. God's number is 26, and horns of the altar is 26. So this is very important. This is what this is the real deal they don't want you to understand. Right? I appreciate you so much. I appreciate you so much. Listen, everybody, make sure y'all hit the like button. Make sure y'all hit the Cash App. Make sure y'all join the Patreon. Make sure y'all go get the books. Please support this effort. It's only a handful of us. We all we got. And I ain't been online. You know, they putting my brother in the ground today. Like, you know, it's a lot. So definitely, please support the channel. All Cash Apps are welcome. $1 or 1,000. We really would, you know, it'd be nice if y'all send some $5,000 and $10,000 Cash Apps, but right. Right, no doubt. He gonna do that because we're gonna make him do that, right? The Speak Into Existence book is dedicated to him, right? So I want y'all to get some of these concepts down, right? So horns of the altar. Yo, Wallace is wild for sure. Listen, so horns of the altar is in the Bible 26 times, right? So we just got to keep these things while we build it, right? Now, we got to talk about what's special with the pyramid. Okay, so let's pay attention. I want y'all to see this. I want y'all to understand they're not being totally forthcoming with you. They're not being totally forthcoming with you. So I know y'all have heard that the pyramids have something to do with electromagnetic energy. The problem is electromagnetic energy don't tell you nothing, right? Because electromagnetic energy is what? Radio waves, microwaves, infrared rays, right? Visible, UV, this one, that one, gamma rays. You know what I'm saying? What, you know what I'm saying? Like, what they're doing. So by saying that it seemed like they educating you, but they're not really educating you. It seemed like they're educating you, but they're not really educating you, right? So we got to try to get specific. We got to try to get specific, see what we can find, right? Right? You see what that say? The chambers in Egypt's Great Pyramid concentrate radio waves. Okay, now we got to start changing what we think and how we look at some of these old heads. Right? We got to look at the old heads different. We got to look at the old heads different because radio technology, radio technology been around. Right? Right? Look, And if you've been following me for any length of time, y'all know I've been talking about this for before I was on YouTube, before there was a YouTube. This is one of the craziest, most interesting things that drew me to continue to look around in the Bible and try to figure out some crazy stuff. Job, right? Canst thou send lightnings that they may go and say unto thee, here we are? It's only one thing that does that. It's radio waves. It's only one thing that does this is radio waves. It's not another thing. It's not another thing. It's only one thing that does this is radio waves. So why is this in the Bible and why is this in the pyramids? Why is this in the Bible? Why is this in the pyramids? We got to start asking some other types of questions. Why is this in the Bible? Why is this in the pyramids? Because there's only one thing that does this. Here, let's hit a Google. All right, let's hit a Google. Okay, let's just start Googling some stuff here. Radio waves. Let's do this. Wi-Fi. Radio waves, Wi-Fi. Look, what does that say? Wi-Fi uses radio waves to transmit information between your device and your frequency. Okay, so that's Wi-Fi. Okay, let's go off of that. Cell phones. Cell phones emit low-level non-ion radiation. Radio frequency radiation in cell phones. Wireless device radiation in health. Mobile phone networks use various bands of what? RF radiation. That's radio frequency radiation, right? So your Wi-Fi and your cell phones all use radio frequency waves, right? I don't think we need to look up and see if radios use radio frequency. I don't think we need to. I don't think we need to do that, right? But all G, 3G, 4G, 5G, 6G, every G is radio waves. I want this to start to kick in. I want this to start to kick in because it might not have kicked in yet. See, y'all watched that Secrets of Prayer video, but y'all had no idea how far deep down the rabbit hole this thing go. Okay, maybe let me just. I know some of y'all did. Like, EnQi, would you talk? Let's do this again. Let's do this again. Watch this. Let's do this again. Let's do this again. Let's go on over here. And what does this say? Investigation of the spinal cord as a natural receptor antenna for incident electromagnetic waves and possible impact on the central nervous system. The multi-frequency simulation results show that peak voltage and current response is observed in the FM radio range around 100 megahertz or millihertz, with significant strips to potentially cause changes in the central nervous system. So, see, people know this stuff, but you don't know. What does it say? The weakening of the blood-brain barrier, including what? What's happening? Okay, so we got some conversations need to have. So the pyramids concentrate radio waves. The altars are built with horns on them. The Ark of the Covenant is built. Oh, okay. We didn't deal with horns yet. Okay. Okay, let's go back over here and deal with horns. Let's deal with horns real quick. I think we might need to pull the skirt off the horns. Let me see. Should we go right to that? Okay. Let's just do it the old-fashioned, slow way. Do we got a word up? Okay. All right. So let's go over here. Y'all know how we do. Horn of an animal, projection, pinnacle, wind instrument. Wind instrument. That's such a bar right there. Wind instrument. Yo, that's like a quadruple entendre. Wind instrument. That's epic right there. I ain't even think of that. That's epic. One of the tips of the crescent moon. Wait, the crescent moon, that's a sign of Islam. Wait, what? So Islam is involved with this horn thing and all that. Okay. So we got horn, we got telephone. Okay. To make horns. Now to make horns, that hand signal, the horn hand signal, that's a ain't that horn hand signal a sign of the devil? When they do the horns, they throw up the horns. Ain't that a sign of the devil? Right? To furnish with horns, to cuckold, to push with horns. Right? To push with horns. Horned. Right? Tin horn. Let me see. Do we got a horny? Made of horn. Callous resembling horn. Lustful, sexually aroused by 1889. Okay, now that's important because that shows where the definition changed. Right? 1889, the definition changed from being specific to horns and instruments to having a lustful sexual meaning. Right? Now, what was happening in 1889? 1889, what was happening around that time period? That was when the satanic movement was in full blossom. Beverly, Blavatsky, Levi, Crowley, like this is when this is when they think was going into full swing. Full swing. Black folks in America was trying to figure it out. We didn't know what was going on. We had no idea what was getting ready to hit us. Right? It was only by this time we only got 20 years of legally being able to read the Bible openly. By this time, we only got 25 years of being able to read the Bible in public without getting hung. And that's only in certain places. Because there's certain places in the South right now, it's still sundown towns. It's still sundown towns in 2024. Right? So just know that this lustful sex thing, this popped up with them folks. Right? Because they in government. right? That's what you got to understand. 1957 is when you get the state of excitement, sexual arousal. None of this is in history. None of this is in history. So all of what you know about horny is modern. All of what you know about horny is modern. Horny having anything to do with sex, all that's modern. Right? Now, let's go to the first antennas. The vision should start becoming clear now. The vision should start becoming clear. The vision should start becoming clear. I don't know how much y'all know. I don't know how much y'all know. But the vision should start becoming clear right about now. The light bulb should be coming on right now. Like, wait a minute. Hold up. Okay, so the Bible said that the nation's power would be based on the horn. The horn is going to be the nation's power. Wait, the horn is going to be the nation's power. And so the superpowers, the big nations that woo, woo, woo. Okay. So they got a horn. What's the horn? Okay. Wait, Doc, what are you saying, Doc? Doc, what are you saying, Doc? I think it's pretty clear at this point. Horn antennas turn radio waves into a beam. Horn antennas turn radio waves into a beam. What do we know the Ark of the Covenant for being able to do? When we read the Ark of the Covenant, it's able to do what? Blast, incredible laser beam blast, right? So I guess we just gonna say it's a coincidence. Listen, it's a coincidence that the Ark of the Covenant is able to be used as a weapon with a big blast. You know, it can some type of power is focused through this Ark of the Covenant somehow. Right? And it just so happens that the Ark of the Covenant is built with horns on it. It's built with horns. And then right here, we see that horns do what? It turns radio waves into beams. Horn antennas turn radio waves into beams. See, this is why we got to put this stuff into books. Because we done had too many Bible scholars. We done had too many Bible scholars. We done had Bible scholars, Kemetic scholars. We done had all types of scholars. How come none of these scholars didn't told us about this before, Doc? Didn't I tell you that Jabari worked for them people? You got to understand, I've been telling y'all for a long time that all these people, the liberal agenda is the social agenda, right? I'm showing you the guy that invented the Baphomet is a socialist, right? All of these people, it's not a coincidence that Kamala is from India. Like none of this is coincidental. Pascal Beverly Randolph was doing lectures telling African Americans they needed to move to India to get enlightened. All of your teachers here, all these guys all over the internet. Billy Crystal, this one, that one, all these guys is telling the same program. All these guys work for this group. Well, yeah. There's that, but here's the thing: you got to understand, all these guys are supported. So it's not a matter of, and see, that's what I learned over time. I was like, Sa, a lot of people blame Sa for a lot of stuff that's going on, but this is way bigger than Sa. It's not Sa. It's not Sa. You know what I'm saying? You got to wonder, where is Jabari getting all these views from? Where is Billycarson getting all these views from? Like, where is these people's support coming from? I showed y'all Nature Boy. Nature Boy had a private funder. He had a liberal professor. His name is Michael. I said it was Miguel before, but it's Michael. Liberal professor like Jabari, who funded Nature Boy's whole entire movement. This is what these guys do. This is what these political movements do. It's bigger than commerce. It's bigger than commerce. You're getting ready to see. All right? It's bigger than commerce. You're getting ready to see. Matter of fact, let me see if we can go. Here we go. Look. Everybody liked them Bose headphones, right? Or the fake Bose, right? Everybody took the Bose technology. So whether you got 50 headphones, Dr. Dre headphones, Apple headphones, it's running off the Bose technology, right? It's running off the Bose technology, right? One of the first horn antennas constructed in 1897 by the Indian radio researcher Chandra Bose, right? Where you think these guys learned to research this from? The research starts in the history space. It starts in the pyramids. It starts in the Bible. And from there, they get an inkling of something. And then they develop it. They get the money and the funding. They get the backing. That's the one reason. That's the one advantage Team Satan got. They getting ready to put that bread together and get mobile. They're getting ready to put that bread together and get mobile. Let's see what we can learn about radar. Radar system consists of a transmitter producing electromagnetic waves in radio or microwaves domain. Stop. Microwaves is not a real thing. Before we keep going and we keep seeing microwaves pop up. I know y'all like, hold up, Doc. What you mean microwaves not a real thing? Microwaves not a real thing. Right? Microwaves are radio waves, but radio waves is a wide variety. So microwaves is a category of radio waves. Right? Microwaves is a category of radio waves. Right? So if you notice now, we're getting into the scary space. Now we're talking about military. Right? Now we're talking about military. right? And when did this come? In the 40s. In the 30s and 40s, they developed this. In the 30s and the 40s, they developed this. Right? Y'all okay? I hope y'all okay. Let's see, this right here is so, this is so crazy. This might put you back to sleep if you ain't meant to see this. You see that? Look. Now, what kind of math? What kind of math does radar need? What kind of math is required? Where does math come from? The horns and the math to work the horns got one origin. Hold on now. The horns, aka the antennas. Hold on. Let's stop this. This is too much. Let's look at some ancient Egyptian deities. See, this is something ain't nobody never showed you before like this. Right? Look at this. Look at this. What is this now? What is this now? Now I want y'all to start looking at the stuff on top of these folks' heads over here. Right? These folks so far ahead, we don't even realize these are solar panels and radar and radio antennas. That's all this is here. Oh, look. All this stuff here is radio antennas and solar panels. That's what we're looking at. When we're looking at these headdresses, we have no idea what type of power these things really represented in real time. See, we think the power was fake. Just like people reading the Bible think it's fake. Like, oh, you're going to pay for your sins when you die, like later on sometimes. So I could just go crazy right now. I could do as thou wilt right now. Right? All these headdresses. Right? All these headdresses. Right? All these headdresses. All these things is functional. These is functional. I just showed you that the pyramids concentrate radio waves. All these things is functional. Yeah, this might be too much even for y'all. We got the smartest audience. But this might be a little too much, but we got to press on. Look at this. Do y'all understand what this is? Do you understand what footage is, skin on tree trunks with visual acoustics is? Do you understand what this is? Oh, man. Hold on, man. Y'all need to take a break for a second. Y'all need a break. I know it's too much. Y'all need a break. Y'all need to listen to this. Go back to this.
What is it? We got to get out of that Illuminati mind state. But now I'm starting to really think like, what is it? Selling your soul is a really serious
thoughts
thing.
and emotions combine into a voice, an electromagnetic signature that articulates choice. Choice is distinction. Distinction is information. Life as we know it is organized information's incarnation to create more and store more is the alpha magma. Codified in Kemet is the Falcon's plasma. Satan is a trick. Blatant as a dick to be complacent in the shit makes you a patient that is sick. The truth is you are a true star. Your caterpillar construction cocoons a new star. The real definition of selling your soul first is trading becoming stellar for a star on earth. Second, you help block creation, illumination, separating information, billions of years in accumulation. Blindly, nigga, we couldn't be more stupid. Sound becomes light. Life is raw music.
What is electromagnetic wave?
The etymology of photography is the right with light. Big Willie, well I am, type of height, get it? Do you understand what footage is? Skin on tree trunks with visual acoustics is. What it mean to own your image and likeness exclusive is? That's your light, clueless kid in a ruthless biz. The image is your soul, the likeness Greatness is your swag, and there's no fucking way I trade that for a bag. Your soul is electromagnetic fields. Your voice is the specific frequency it yields. Encoding your thoughts, encoding your emotion. When those waves collapse, the culture's your commotion. Nigga, keep your gun, just squeeze proper. Culture vultures is cowards and eavesdroppers. The digital age, we clearly got it labels. Sound becoming light as the periodic table.
Electromagnetic waves. Electromagnetic waves. Electromagnetic.
How we didn't know rap could get that big. Buzz is biology, underwriting zigzag zig. That's why the buzz come after the goosebumps. And my shit creating new mumps. Bass sicker than blue pumps. Swinging like it's news hung. Ain't no stopping us. Affecting the whole populace. Shining like phosphorus. The fiends day, I'm all type of dope. I make a photon, a firework like a microscope. Light entendres, light forecast. Let's work. Smell me like a broadcast network. Get it? Peripherance is the middlemen that RCA just mimicking. In the Bible, when they lost their blessing, they start burning. 2018 radio turned urban because we started with nothing and did it the best. Sound becomes light, light becomes flesh.
Electromagnetic waves in your body work the same way as the recording technology. So we take it back. You look at a phonograph. A phonograph is a carbon disc spinning with a carbon needle.
That's the algorithm.
Okay, so I need y'all to really I need y'all to dial in and understand this thing here. I need y'all to dial in and understand this thing here. Here, let me show it to you another way. Watch this. Now that you getting some of this, right? It might blow your mind if we do this. Let's do this together. Hold on, we're gonna do something together, like family. Like we're gonna do this as a family. Let's do this as a family, right? Now we was over here, right? Remember we did this. Remember we did this. We looked this up, right? We looked this up, right? Now look at this. Hold up. Because a very important aspect of the Bible is that trumpet. When the trumpet sounds, oh my God, is somebody listening to me what I'm saying? Listen. Okay, watch this. Let's do this. Because I might need protection. I might need to go on witness protection after I hit this enter button. If I hit this enter button, I might need to go on witness protection. What'd this say? Okay, hold on. Let's do this. Let's bring it back again. What did this say here? Listen. Yeah, I might have to go on witness protection after this. Yeah, I think it's a joke. Yeah, I think it's a joke. Yeah, I think it's a joke. I might need help after this. I might be in trouble after this. Yeah, I might be in trouble after this. Yeah, I might be in trouble after this. Hey, what happened? They didn't cover it up? Oh, there we go. So you do get that the original language of the Bible is horn. So I need y'all to just take a minute. Take a minute like we did earlier when we did amygdala and Ammon. Right? Let's just switch now over every time. Let's switch over now every time. Okay, let's do it like this. Hold on. Let me do it like this. Let's do it like this. Hold on. Let's go back over here. All right, let's do this. Okay. Do y'all see this? So let me ask y'all a question now. The Bible said nations power, a nation's power is based on their antennas. Wait, let's do it like this. You see, China got the largest one, but let's look at how are missiles guided. Let's do it. Are missiles guided with radio waves? So before you even think to say to yourself, oh no, I think the countries are super powerful because they got missiles, you know, the bigger missiles, and they got nukes and da 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 da. No. You confused. You gotta know what's in that book. I'm telling you. Don't let nobody lead you away from that book. You gotta know what's in that book. Okay, so now let's go back. Okay, so now what that? Oh, so China got the largest. Interesting. Okay. So wait a minute. Okay, so let's just look at this. Let's see what this says. China, Puerto Rico. Interesting. The USA. So hold up. Out of the top 3, we got 2 of them because technically Puerto Rico is USA. Then we got this joint right here, USA. Right? This is out of Virginia. Right? Then Germany got their program. Right? Then the UK is involved. Right? Uh-oh. What? What? What's happening? Nice to meet you guys once again. How you doing? My name is Dr. EnQi. I just want the cash apps to go to $ Minister EnQi. We really need them. Right? Make sure you join the Patreon. Make sure you get in the books because clearly we're underinformed out here. But we didn't even get we listen. We just turning the heat up on this thing, pun intended. Right? Australia's, oh, wait a minute, Mexico involved? Mexico involved? Now, wait a minute. I want y'all alien enthusiasts, all of y'all folks that's watching all these alien stuff. I want y'all to look at this list and run back through your mind all of the alien sightings and blah, 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 blah. You're going to notice that the alien sightings is coming from the countries with the listen, you're going to notice the alien sightings. Okay, hold on. Let's look at this here. Let's do this. What is this called? What is this? What is this? What is this? What is this? What is these things here? Centimeter wavelength radio. Wait, what's happening here? So the Bible done told us the real deal here that the Israelites, y'all listening to Zariak and the Christians, what's that boy name? God Logic, the Kemetic folks, the scientists. Ain't nobody told you about this. This Dr. EnQi is telling you this. This Dr. EnQi discoveries. See, this is what this is real. This is research. This is what research look like. So when all these Bibles got, oh, I got a PhD at such and such, and what are you doing with it? Because clearly you ain't doing nothing with that PhD. Clearly you ain't doing that. Now let's keep going. Okay. What are these guys doing? 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 Okay, now let's answer some simple basic questions. If technology gets better with time, and we went to the moon in 1969, How come we haven't been back to the moon since? Come on now. Wakey, wakey. Wakey, wakey. All right, let's go back to what we was doing, right? Let's bring it all the way back to the top. So we had Pascal Beverly Randolph, and then we had who? Madame Blavatsky, and then we had Aleister Crowley, and then we had Jack Parsons. Tony Stark himself, right? Okay. Jack Parsons. Jack Parsons. Who is Jack Parsons? Hold on. Look at Jack Parsons. Jack Parsons converted to Thelema. What's Thelema? Aleister Crowley program, right? Parsons and his wife joined the OTO. So these people here was deep into that. Now, I guess it's just coincidence that Jack Parsons happens to be a founder of the Jet Propulsion Laboratory, right? Now, what is the Jet Propulsion Laboratory doing? What do you think these guys is? What are they doing over here? What do you think these guys doing over here? What do you think these guys doing over here? Okay, but we're just gonna leave that right there. And this other company, he also founded this company. He also founded this company. So one company partnered up with the Air Force and the Navy to develop what? Infrared. The other company, the JPL, well, what they telling folks is they was developing the rocket fuel, right? The rocket fuel. Okay. So they got the rocket fuel thing going on, but the JPL engineers designed and operated the Ranger and Survey missions to the moon. What? So you telling me Aleister Crowley's people, the Satanist people, was the what? In 1944, Parsons was expelled due to his unorthodox and unsafe working methods following one of the FBI's investigations. Listen, I'm just trying to, okay. All right. So let's see what, okay, let me show you what's really, so I might have showed y'all too much already. Yeah, you know what? I think I might have showed y'all too much already. Y'all just need to go and get the book. Hold on, man. Yeah. They not like us. Let me see. I can't even find it. Hold on. We're gonna find it now. Wait a minute. Yeah, just do this. Cause we going too deep into these waters over here. We're going too deep over here. Just do that. See, now this whole cover, might make a lot more sense when you look at the cover of this book. When you look at the cover of this book, you might go, oh, EnQi is in another atmosphere. It's researchers, it's scholars, and then there's EnQi. Yeah, that's